Spiritomb is supposed to be 108 spirits justly bound and punished, but this one's different. 107 of those spirits are innocent. Track-returned medium Indigo wants to set things right by connecting each ghost with the descendant of their beloved Pokemon. How will he recognize these Pokemon? Well, they might have a certain sparkle. This is Shiny with a Story. Welcome everyone, Kat here, serving your weekly dose of Shiny Hunt with a fluffy one-shot fanfic on the side. On today's episode, Indigo will be searching for a shiny Vulpix. Let's see how it goes. Hello, can you hear me? Indigo sat up, his head throbbing. He remembered very little of the past few moments. Someone had attacked him from behind. Why was that again? If you can hear me, then get up and run! A dark pulse attack connected with the ground at his side. Indigo obeyed the voice at his head, sprang to his feet, and took off. Adrenaline pumped through his tired muscles as he sprinted off the Cobalt Coastline's road and into a long tree line. No one seemed to be following. He slowed down to catch his breath, not to mention his bearings. The guard at the gate had said something about an outbreak of Vulpix around this area, hadn't he? Not exactly a threatening species, but a flurry of ember attacks would light up the area and draw attention of anyone trying to follow. Better to be cautious and stay alive. There you go, see? I knew you wouldn't die so easily, said the voice, a young feminine pitch. Strange and foreign as it was, the voice lifted Indigo's spirits. For a little bit. Pretty sure you didn't die. You were only out of your body for a little bit, and your heart is still beating and stuff. Indigo stopped and leaned against a tree, his jaw slack to take in more air. What are you talking about? The voice went silent for a moment before it echoed in his mind once again. You know, I don't think I ever introduced myself. I'm Prima. Indigo, what's this about being out of my body? Prima gave a forced, uncomfortable giggle. Oh, that, she said. I, might have pulled you in and bound you to the odd keystone with us. Us? Did all your research on Spiritomb get knocked out of your brain when you were attacked? Us meeting me and the other 100+ spirits that have been trapped all these years? Indigo began to walk forward. Not in any particular direction, but if he kept moving, he could imagine Prima as a traveling companion who perpetually walked behind him, rather than one of 107 telepathic spirits bound together inside a magical rock. 108, she said in his mind. Pardon? There's 108 now, including you. To reiterate, I pulled your spirit in before Vessa's could join us. Wait, so you tried to murder me? Of course not. Vessa tried to murder you when you wouldn't give her back the odd keystone, you dummy. Indigo was about to argue her point when an aggressive Beautifly swooped down and tried to bat him on the head. He called out his Rhyperior, hoping to knock it out quickly before it made too much of a scene. Rhyperior, despite its bulk, could be surprisingly stealthy when it needed. If it makes you feel any better, you're a much better companion than Vessa, Prima continued. Don't let her innocent little girl illusion fool you. She is straight up evil. Indigo replied as Rhyperior shooed Beautifly away. Legends say you lot aren't exactly a bunch of innocent starlies yourselves. For a long time, Prima didn't answer, and when she did, she completely changed the topic. You know, I had a Vulpix when I was younger, really strong one. If she was here, I bet she could face Vessa, no problem. Indigo seriously doubted Prima's pet could stand up to the terrifying woman he now remembered fleeing from. That Vessa, whatever she was, wasn't a normal human. She had some powerful abilities, both her attacks and her shapeshifting, even without any Pokemon at her side. And all of this was besides the point given that Prima's request was impossible. The legends say Spiritomb is hundreds of years old, he said. No offense, but would your Vulpix still be around? Prima didn't say anything right away in reply, but Indigo could feel her sadness welling up inside his own chest. No, I don't suppose she would. But maybe we could find one of her descendants? I'm sure I would recognize one. I could point them out to you. Indigo considered this for a moment, then paused. The air around them felt warmer. A chorus of playful gurgles and growls could be heard not far through a break in the trees. The outbreak had to be close. If Prima lived in this area, perhaps her Vulpix's descendant was here too? Didn't seem a useful quest, but it did seem a kind one. Indigo crept into the clearing, and sure enough, a large group of the Red Fox Pokemon gathered around. As he crept closer, though, one of them let off a kind of sparkle. There, see it? Prima whispered. That one, I'm sure of it. Indigo tapped into his muscle memory, pulled out one of his crafted Ultra Balls, and tossed it. The odd-colored Vulpix went immediately into the ball with no issue. Well, of course it did, he muttered aloud. Just a Vulpix, after all. Not a Garchomp or... He started back up the path, only to spot a different Vulpix. Its eyes glowed red with incredible power. It locked its gaze with Indigo and gave a deep-throated growl. Like it had heard him disregard its small fellows. Vulpix are very prideful, Prima said to him, and they watch out for their own. They won't stand for even one member of the group being insulted. Indigo held up his hands. Okay, I admit it, he said softly. I underestimated you and your friends. I'm sorry. Would you do me the honor of a battle? The Alpha lowered its head, not exactly pleased, but willing to settle this through the proper channels. A battle it would be then. Indigo felt the familiar rush of excitement as he brought his own Pokemon out against his opponent. The Fox Pokemon may have looked sweet and helpless, but seeing the Alpha stand its ground, Indigo had clearly underestimated how powerful a bond of friendship could be. If he was going to face off against Vesta again someday, he might do well to help the other spirits find their old companions too, and to leave his stupid assumptions behind. Okay, that's all for this story. The next one will be in a couple weeks, and it will be about Carnivine. Also, Indigo will notice that his haircut changed. Until then, happy reading and happy training.